Greetings, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the NBA Breakdown. I'm your host, Cale Hammond. With me, as always, is my pal, Reader Hunt. Monday, March 2nd. Got a 5-game slate. Not necessarily the easiest set of games to pick from, but we're going to try and help you find some value out there. Let's not waste any of your time. Let's just get right into it. Reader, what do you think about our first game, Toronto versus Philadelphia? It's minus 8.5 points for Toronto, 194 over-under. Two teams that have not been up to much good the past few weeks. What do you...
There's not a whole lot to like from this game, in my opinion, but we'll give you the rundown anyway on this short slate. Kyle Lowry missed the last game due to rest. I think he's supposed to miss today also, last time I checked. This opened the door last game for Grievous Vasquez to start the game at point guard. Played pretty well, had 27 fantasy points in 34 minutes. He did hit 4 threes, though. I'm not expecting that again. I'd like him more if he was around where he was priced last game, but he's up to 4,200. I don't really like that too much. Vasquez and Lou Williams are both really high on basketball and search ratio, which is basically just fantasy points per dollar.
Yep.
I'm not really that high on either one of them. Lou Williams isn't starting still. Without Lowry, he did see 33 minutes, but his last 4 games of fantasy production are pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan has been consistently bad. He's had 5 straight games of under 26 fantasy points. Shooting like a Rubio percentage right now lately, so
Yikes.
Not hopping on this train until he finds his shot. But anyone else you've seen from this side of the ball?
Not much. I think I like Sweet Lou a little bit more than you do. I think he's really, without Lowry and with DeRozan shooting the ball this poorly, he's their go-to scorer. And so against this horrible Philadelphia team, you got to like his chances to get some buckets today. Another guy I like for Toronto is Valanciunas, just because Philadelphia right now, they're not going to win this game, and they give up the most rebounds of any team by far. So I look for Valanciunas to corral some of those boards. But other than that, that's about all I'm seeing. As far as the Philadelphia side of the ball goes, I'm not seeing too much here. I know Nerlens Noel. I know you like Nerlens Noel a decent amount today. I'm going to let you talk about him for a second. But that's about it. Let's talk about Nerlens for a second. What do you think he's going to be up to tonight?
Yeah, Nerlens, he's shooting 54% from the field at home and only 37% on the road. I know he only shoots 8 times a game on average this year, but for the whole season, that's a large enough sample size for that to be a real thing. And it's been resulting in 5 more fantasy points at home than away this year. He's at home today, so like I said, not a whole lot to like in this game. But in his 2 games at home since the All-Star break, he's had 47 fantasy points. So each game. So he's seeing heavy minutes consistently, 8 straight games of over 30 minutes. And at 6.2K, I don't think he's a bad contest play here. I think he'll be really lowly owned also.
Yeah, I definitely think, as usual, Nerlens Noel is pretty solid. Moving on to our next game, we have Phoenix at Miami. Reader, what are your thoughts on this one?
Miami's a 3-point favorite in a 204.5 point over-under. This game's actually pretty ugly considering we have a really close spread and a pretty high total. Chris Anderson and Goran Dragic are both questionable at the moment. Phoenix side of the ball, Eric Bledsoe is about the only guy I can kind of consider from this game right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Knight is now expected to play, which is kind of breaking news. But Bledsoe is 8,600, and I think you could do worse than Bledsoe, although Miami does obviously defend guards pretty well. So I don't know. What are you thinking about this side?
Yeah, for an over-under like that and a Phoenix team that usually scores a lot of points, this game just has a pretty disgusting vibe, to be quite honest. I know it's a super turbo revenge game for Goran Dragic, but at the same time, I don't know if these guards in Brandon Knight and Eric Bledsoe are going to let Dragic be up to too much, because they clearly have an advantage over him in the speed and athletic department. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm not liking land against light side.
Neither am I.
Am I missing anybody on this side? I just really.
I mean, we probably are missing some people. I just don't think it's necessarily. I mean, Dwayne Wade at his unusually low price tag, he had a decent amount of shots last. What do you have? 16 shots last game.
Yeah, had 17 shots last game.
Yeah, 17 shots. If he's under 7K and he's going to be on the court for around 30 minutes, he's definitely a solid option. But other than Bledsoe, maybe Dragic if you're feeling the revenge game. I think these big guys.
If you're feeling really,
oh, yikes!
Really different.
Yeah, Michael Beasley. He's going to be playing, so if you feel like rostering that the guy who's tearing up the Chinese version of the NBA, go for it. I wouldn't recommend it, but he's always a fun player to watch, that's for sure. But honestly, I think that's about it for that game. For our next game, we've got Golden State versus Brooklyn. The Warriors a minus 6-point favorite, 207 over/under. So Draymond Green's listed as questionable. If he sits out, if Draymond Green does not play, you got to plug Harrison Barnes into a lot of your lineups. And Harrison Barnes, he'd probably play a similar amount of minutes even if Draymond Green didn't play. But the thing is, Steve Kerr would slot him over into the power forward slot. And Steve Kerr, just a few days ago, said that he loves when Harrison Barnes can play that forward position. And he thinks he's going to excel there. So if Draymond Green doesn't play, I think Harrison Barnes is going to have a big game. Maybe even look for a possible double-double candidate for Harrison Barnes if Draymond Green sits out. I don't think that's necessarily out of a possibility, him getting a double-double. Anything else you're seeing in this one, Reader?
Yeah, Bogut is doubtful in this game, and obviously, as you were talking about, Draymond Green. So I think that also opens the door for Maurice Spates. Basketball Monster loves him. It's hard to really love a guy like this, but with those two guys out at 3,200, I could definitely see him hitting value against Brooklyn.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
and interestingly,
also Curry, I think is a good play tonight at 9.8K. I think he could easily get 50 fantasy points, and he might have to tonight.
Yeah, he definitely might have to. Look for him or Klay Thompson to light up New York City tonight. Usually these big stars always have good games in New York City for some reason. Just something about the city brings out the best of superstars. But other than that, nothing really I'm seeing from the Brooklyn side of the ball. Honestly, I'm not going to pick one Brooklyn net tonight in my lineup. Whether that's a smart decision or not, I can't say for sure yet, but I'm just not liking anyone on this Brooklyn Nets team. So let's move on. Next game on tap, we have Los Angeles Clippers versus Minnesota Timberwolves. Reader, what's the over-under and the spread on this one?
Clippers are favored by 4.5, 206.5 over/under. So good total, close spread. What are your thoughts on this game?
This is the game I think you got to target.
Wait. First of all, I know you'll all be shocked by this, but Bekovic is doubtful for today. I had to throw that in there.
That's amazing. What was our over-under bet?
He gave him a 12-game over/under to get to be injured again. Yeah. I think he went under, actually.
He went under. Oh, of course he did. It's just tough. It's tough to be 290 pounds and 6'11" playing basketball, running up and down the court like that. 290 pounds is a lot of weight to be carrying around, especially in a game like basketball where you're just running the entire time. Well, let's talk about the players. Kevin Martin from Minnesota, shooting guard slot. I love him tonight. I think he's going to have a great game. DeAndre Jordan has been horrifying the last several games. Look for DeAndre Jordan to continue his dominance, and Kevin Martin gets most of his points from outside the paint, which is a very good thing in this game. He's obviously not going to be guarded by a CP3. He's probably going to draw a little bit of Redick defense and hopefully a bit of Crawford defense, which would be awesome for Kevin Martin's value tonight. Let's see. I don't like Ricky Rubio being defended by Chris Paul. I'm going to avoid him tonight. Chris Paul is just an excellent defender. Ricky Rubio could still have a decent game. I'm not going to target him heavily. Let's see. Love Kevin Martin, and that's about it. Andrew Wiggins, he sort of disappointed me with his performances the last couple games. Andrew Wiggins definitely not a bad target for some cash game lineups, but I like Kevin Martin as the primary offensive weapon for Minnesota. Also, Gorgie Dang, not sure if I'm pronouncing that name right, but if Nick Pekovic is indeed out, look for him to absorb the bulk of the minutes. And even though DeAndre's playing at a very, very high level, I don't think that's going to slow Gorgie Dang down from getting 25, 30 fantasy points at a 5K price tag. What are you seeing from the Clippers side of the ball, Reader?
Spencer Hawes. I know everybody hates him, but he's still really cheap, and he's hit value in 5 straight games.
Oh, wow.
Since Blake Griffin has been out, he only hasn't hit value in 2 games, and I think those are the games that he really didn't do well. But he's finally getting some consistent production on the glass. He has 9, 4, 8 rebounds, 6.
Wow, it's a miracle.
If he's getting rebounds like that, it's not hard for him to hit value. And as he's shown, he has been doing it lately. So I don't hate him at all in the contest play tonight.
Neither do I. Pretty much anyone on this Clippers team is in play tonight.
And Matt Barnes is doubtful tonight.
Oh, that's even better. That's even better. So that makes me like Jamal Crawford even more. Chris Paul even more. I do think that Ricky Rubio is going to try really, really hard to slow Chris Paul down this game. Obviously, he's not going to stop him. Chris Paul's going to have a fine game, but I don't think we're going to be seeing anything in the 60s from Chris Paul today. I think Ricky Rubio is going to try and probably keep him in the mid to high 40s in terms of fantasy point production. Yeah, this is definitely the best game to target. Jamal Crawford, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan. Just put DeAndre Jordan in half of your lineups because I mean this guy has been the best he's been the best in the business besides Russell Westbrook the last couple weeks. And yeah, that's about it from this game. Let's move on to New Orleans versus Dallas. Reader, let's go to you for the spread, the over/under, and who you're targeting from this Pelicans roster.
Dallas is favored by 8 in a 198 over/under. Dante Cunningham has just been crushing his value lately. He's had 9 times his price the last 3 games consistently. So his price is still at $3,400. I think he's definitely somebody to target. He played 40 minutes last night though, so
wow.
A little bit of concern there maybe. But he's been playing really well. Some injuries to go over. Chandler Parsons is questionable, and Big Chicken Tyson Chandler is questionable as well.
Wow. So yeah, if Chandler Parsons and Big Chicken do not play, target your Dallas Mavericks accordingly. Just try and absorb the most amount of minutes as you possibly can because Dallas, they're another team that moves the ball pretty well. They're also a tough team to predict from a fantasy point standpoint. They are one of the tougher teams in my opinion. I don't know if you agree with me, but I do believe that Dallas is one of the harder teams to predict where the scoring is going to be coming from on a game-to-game basis. But for New Orleans, the usual starting 5, I mean, you got guys, Ashik playing well, Ajinka playing well, Tyreek Evans playing well, Eric Gordon not playing well. However, one of these days, I'm telling you, the guy's going to blow up one of these days. He's going to win someone some money. Unfortunately, I'm not going to have too many shares of Eric Gordon tonight, but he's definitely
a human volcano.
Yeah, he's definitely a candidate to exceed his value threshold 1 out of every 15 games. But yeah, other than that, that's about all I'm seeing this game. Definitely for your lineups, tailor them to the Clippers versus Timberwolves game. Both these teams the last couple weeks have been by far the best teams to target. So that's about all I'm seeing from the Pelicans versus Mavericks game. Definitely tailor your lineups to fit as many players from the Clippers versus Timberwolves game as possible. I think that is where the bulk of the fantasy point value is going to be coming from tonight. And other than that, that's all I've got for you. So thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you again tomorrow.